Welcome to Talking Live. I'm Dr. Robi Ludwig out of Starshot Studios in Times Square. We have a special guest, and anyone who is in New York City knows her well. She is a star Emmy Award-winning anchor for Pix 11. She also happens to be my uncle, in full disclosure, Mr. G. He thinks she's the smartest person in the room. He's the smartest. Yes, he says, you're the smartest person in the room. And she's also a 3 times over author. And we are thrilled to have her here to just talk about what the profession is about, networking, and you are
You're so sweet.
No,
Thank you.
It's true.
Thanks.
I mean, one of the things that really strikes me about you is how successful you are, but yet you're accessible. You really talk a lot about your life, your experiences. In fact, you did that in your most recent book, the new single.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you were a part of it. We've known each other a long time.
We have, yes.
I think we all go through life changes and transitions, and that was a transition of mine that I went through, and I was embarrassed by it for a long time.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hid the fact I was separated, and then I wasn't sure. I hated going out there, and then it kind of came out. And so when I actually sat down and thought about it, and we kind of went through that healing process. I mean, you know better than anybody, going through a healing process for whatever life change it is. You got to kind of sit with yourself for a little while, right? And say what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, and where do I go from here? And
as a public person, it's almost like you don't really have the space to take the time out in quite the same way as somebody who is a private person. Right,
and I guess, at the time, that person was a part of a lot of my life, so when that's not there anymore, however you are, if you're public or private, it just feels, you've got a group of friends, if you're not a public figure, that you still have to deal with and be in front of. So there were just some of the things that I had done going through that, and I felt like I wanted to share them, and I got the opportunity to do it. I will tell you, I was sweating when I knew the book was actually going online and going on Amazon, because it's one thing writing it in your living room, and it's one thing feeling really like, this is okay, this is funny.
It's like cathartic,
right?
It's
but
like
then when you actually realize someone's going to read those words and really read them. So, but I will tell you, I've had nothing but great stories that have helped me learn since then, which has been very, very nice. And I've met some incredible people along the way. I did a book tour and got to meet a lot of women that were going through the same thing, and not necessarily even divorce, but maybe going through a job change, or kids leaving the house, or kids growing up, or a divorce. And learning from them is, it's just how I think we do things, which is nice.
You are very transparent when you talk, and I think that's why so many people connect to you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you don't try to present yourself as the perfect person who has it figured out.
I wish I had it figured out.
I mean, listen, we all have moments where we have some things figured out,
we do.
And other things are question marks. But you really are open about that, and I think that's why women want to tell their stories to you or want to ask for your advice. In fact, we were recently at a networking event where you were the moderator, and you were talking to women about how to network.
Right.
Now, you are successful already. You anchor 3 shows.
3 shows, 5, 6, and 10. Yep.
Right, because we can't get enough of Tamsen, so we need 3 shows.
Because there's so much news in New York.
Right. And do you really feel at this point that you need to network? Do you think that's something that's ongoing for women?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it because I think it opens up different doors and ideas to me. I spent a long time just in a newsroom, starting out in West Virginia and moving to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Orlando and all over the place, wanting to get to New York, right? And I got to New York, and it was such a big city, and I didn't really know anybody. And at the time, my husband, we had started a business, and we got to meet people, but it was the networking with women. And even to this day, some of them, I'm still, and I think I talked about that at that event, to this day, I still have kind of a core group of a few of them that I still talk to, because I've never found another place, and there probably are a lot of them, but I've never found another place where women help women so much. And it's a wonderful thing to see. So you have one person who might direct you to somebody else. And so I think
I agree.
Yeah, the networking has helped me. Listen, it's brought incredible interviews to me that I'm able to share with other people, right? Yeah. Social media wasn't around a while.
That's right.
Ago.
Right. When we started.
when back in the day. But it's allowed me to meet incredible people, and more importantly, they've inspired me to do other things outside of just, a one focused path enabled me to write a book, enabled me to have people to interview in that book that
you also
I don't have an
produce?
expertise. I do.
Yeah.
I produce a half-hour Broadway show, and it's another way to meet people. But I think networking is key, men or women. But the networking that I've done that has been incredible to me is the women in the city.
I actually was recently on a phone call with a very successful person, and she asked me a question about how did I feel relationships were with other TV psychologists in the city versus LA. And I said, I can't speak to LA because I only live in New York City. I said,
Sure.
but some of my dearest friends are TV psychologists, and they all have their own niche, and we recommend each other,
Right.
we pull for each other. And it was interesting. This woman said, she goes, I noticed that in New York City, and people wouldn't necessarily think about that in New York City. They think it's kind of cutthroat.
People are just walking over you in their heels.
But New York City, people help each other. They're very generous. Where she felt in LA, it was more cutthroat because there was less space for people. Now I don't know why that would be.
I'd be interested to hear that if there's people out there from LA.
Write to us. Let us know what you think. Ask us questions.
I'd be interested in that. I have found. I can't speak to LA either or anywhere else, but I can speak to, because I wasn't really doing it, in all fairness, when I was in the other markets. I moved around a lot for TV, which you often do, is you try to kind of figure out where you're going to end up, and I knew I wanted to end up in New York. But I guess what I have found here is that the jealousy factor, or maybe you just grow out of it. I'm not sure of the right answer there, but I feel like there's the ability to help people, recommend people, bring people in, kind of like usher people up, and I like that. I like that, lifting people up, and I don't know that I always knew how to do that or felt comfortable doing it, but I love it now, and I feel like it makes me stronger in whatever I'm doing, and I feel like it makes me better, and I feel like it. It enlightens me. There are people with ideas that you can't come up with all your ideas, and so you've got to have that experience of other people, or you live a very sheltered, small life.
And I think too, you start to attract. I think people in New York City, and what I have found, and perhaps we have the same kind of connections, is that we like to be proud of our friends. And I know that's really true for me.
Sure.
I'm so proud when my friends are doing well. Half the people I have on my show are people that are doing exciting things.
Right.
And I want to showcase what they're working on so that other people can enjoy it. And,
you want to lift them up.
Right.
Yeah, you want to lift them up, and I think it helps them, and it feels good to you, and I think it helps you ultimately, maybe even more than them.
Do you think that there's something for women who are out there who are looking to network in the right kind of way?
In the right
Are there
space.
certain qualities that they can look for in people to find the right kind of person that really can help them get to that next level, whether it's in the TV business or socially or whatever the case may be?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, social media certainly made it so much easier. I think I've found over time, because it's kind of cluttered things a little. It makes it. There's so many people you could spend all day, trying to figure out who's who and who could help you. I have found that people that are good at doing that are quick to respond. I feel like they can tackle 1,000 things at the same time. I feel like you see them with a core group of people all the time, helping promote them, right? And I also think that, there's givers and takers. There's no question about it. Everybody that networks is not, always there to kind of give. But I feel like if you find one or two people, which is all you really need, one or two people, like if you put yourself in the middle of the circle and you kind of draw the lines to different people that whoever it is, Judy Goss, Melanie, different names, they all kind of direct to the same people, right? We're all kind of, interconnected somehow. So you find one or two good people, whether it's on your social media page, whether it's through Twitter, and I think that you have just this incredible network that continues to grow and helps you, whether you're in a transition, whether you're starting another job, whether you're, moving into another, age category, and, you want to find people who are like-minded.
Now, I know you have an interesting perspective about age, and I wrote a book, Your Best Age Is Now, so I really do believe the older you get, the better you feel, and you spoke a lot about that in your book as well.
I did.
And I imagine, it's always something that comes up in the TV business because people are looking at us and wondering how old we are. I recently was at a lunch, and I'm feeling young and like 24 in my own head, even though I'm far from that. And this adorable little girl, she goes, oh my God, I just love you. You remind me of my boyfriend's mother. And I was like, wow, I guess I really have entered into that other level.
Thank you.
But fortunately, she
Our
liked
networking is done here.
She liked her boyfriend's mother, so I thought it was all good.
Good. That's a compliment.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, age is a thing. You know, and yeah, I'm not going to pretend we don't all try to fight it.
Yeah.
You know, on whatever level, or whether it's putting on makeup, you know,
Well, I
throwing
think
on
to be
heels.
relevant, to look
yeah,
good, feel our best.
I think to feel good. I feel like it's inside outside. You know, I'm a big believer in that. I'm 46 years old, and I can't believe it when I say it. And
You're a baby.
Maybe we could cut this part. But you know, I'm proud of what I've done, and I like to see other people who are, you know, I always look ahead. I always look at somebody who maybe is 56 or 66 years old, and the things I see nowadays are just incredible role models out there that we saw a few the other night. Incredible role models. So I'm inspired and I'm enthusiastic about the future more than fearful of the next birthday and the next birthday. So I still celebrate mine.
Oh, I
so
do. I do as well,
gifts.
and I've even bought crowns to celebrate mine. But
I like that.
I went to see Ariana Huffington.
Sure.
She was promoting
Perfect example.
her book. She's such a great example, and she said something that was so powerful to me. She said, "You know, we need all voices."
100%.
And I think as a culture, we really do need to embrace the power of voices from every single age group that's so powerful in terms of sharing information and sharing a different kind of perspective. That's one of the things that you're working on with PIX.
Sure.
You have a show called Change Makers. And I love this. I'm all about this because you really are devoted to charity work. You do a lot of work with breast cancer survivors because of your history with your mom, right?
Yep.
And you also donate your time in terms of volunteers. There's a volunteer program.
Yeah, there's a couple of different things. I work with North Shore Animal League, obviously, and then I also do a lot with ADAPT Community Network, and that's helping people with disabilities, and they have just grown leaps and bounds, or formerly UCP of NYC. And you know, I started working with them a while back through a good friend of mine, James Grant, and Ed Matthews is at the helm of the organization, and he's just so passionate and inspired about what he does. And so it's exciting to me to be, you know, a part of that community. And yeah, so I do give my time because I do feel like that's where I want to be. You know, those are the right things for me. There's no question about it. With regard to change makers, I have, again, met so many people and so many stories that I want to tell, and I anchor the newscasts, but you know, the truth is that I love being a storyteller. It's why I got involved. It's why I started in Oak Hill, West Virginia when I was 20-nothing years old, and said, you know, I want to tell stories. That's what I wanted to do. People inspire me every day, different, every person different. And so,
and this is a positive, you know, your stories are positive and inspiring.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you watch the people that you're interviewing and it's just a feel-good story. And I think that there's just not enough spaces, really, when you look out to the media about those feel-good stories. And people can inspire you to really get to the next level. So do you choose the people that you interview?
I do. I work with a couple of producers to kind of figure out. We go down lists all the time, and we try to bring people from all different areas, so it's not, you know, 50 celebrities that we're talking about. We're talking about all sorts of people, whether it's an author, whether it's somebody that started a nonprofit. We interviewed a woman not too long ago who was working with a domestic violence shelter, and she was actually making undergarments for women because women didn't have those. So when they would come to the domestic, you know, when they come to the shelter after coming out of a bad situation, they would often leave the home with nothing on their back. They had no clothes.
And that's something you really don't hear about.
It is. It's something you don't hear about. And so I was my producer was so intrigued by her story, and then I went to talk to her, and she's literally working right now out of a storage unit because she doesn't have a space. So, you know, so people hearing her story want to help and want to be part of it. So that's what I like, because those are the real change makers in our community, and those are the people that are helping everybody. And so, yeah, that's why I love doing it. So I do it once a week, and I really enjoy it.
It must be so rewarding, too, because many of those people don't necessarily get in front of the camera.
Sure.
We don't know who they are. They're just...
and they have the best stories. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, absolutely. It's just they're working from passion.
They are.
And vision.
They are.
And making a difference in the world.
And they should have more recognition than any of us do, is the truth, and they don't get it. So I hope that we provide a little place, a little platform for that to happen.
Do you find that people offer to invest in some of the programs that you highlight?
Well, people call and ask how they can get involved. There's no question about it. And that's a nice part of it, because I think otherwise maybe they wouldn't have that reach or that voice. So once the story airs, it airs Thursday night during our 5 o'clock newscast on Pix 11, and then after it airs there, it's online. So those are constantly always online and always on the website too, so people can see them.
So we should also let everybody know that in addition to finding you on PIX, because this goes out nationally, people can find you on your website.
Very good. Yes.
So
Pix11.com.
Yes.
Pix11.com are also an app too, so you can see the stories there. And I'm so proud of those. I really am, because the people that we've had a chance to work with, I just think are spectacular. You know, they really are. They
and you
excite
get
me.
a more in-depth kind of view of who you're talking to when you have that one-on-one. But you were also in Afghanistan. I don't know if many people know that you were in the trenches.
Yes,
What
I didn't.
was that
I didn't always
like?
wear dresses and high heels and wear makeup. I was a street reporter for a long time. That's where I came from. I started in West Virginia. I moved to Pittsburgh, then to Florida, Philadelphia. I was kind of all over the place, and was embedded when I was at CBS locally in Philadelphia. You know, in Afghanistan. It was before really the embedding was something that was going on quite a bit, and we went over with the Air Force, and we went over to Afghanistan, to Kandahar, to Kabul, and then also London and Germany, where different Air Force bases were located, and talked to, you know, our point was to talk to the local soldiers and to the Air Force and to the service members who were over there. And that was a life-changing for me. It really was, because I had never been exposed to that. And really, I wasn't around it, never certainly been overseas in a country like that, and to see what they were going through, being away from home, having babies back at home, you know, going up into the mountains, Taliban still operating, you know, in Kandahar. So it was a pretty incredible experience. And
was there anybody that stood out in terms of having a story that you just couldn't shake?
Yeah, there were a lot. I think that what was the most chilling for me really was, instead of a one person, it was the women. The women were afraid. You know, so when we went into the capital city, the women would run from you, and I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to women being hidden or afraid or fearful of their lives, and that really stuck with me in terms of understanding really what was going on there at the time, and the repression. And
it's a new understanding
never
of
left
what
me.
freedom is, and you
No
almost
question about
can't
it.
understand it unless you leave the United States and really are part of another culture for a period of time.
Sure.
Well, we want to invite you to do a special segment that we do here called Keeping It Real.
Keeping it real,
Yeah,
okay.
so we're going to ask some questions. What is your strongest personal quality?
Personal quality. Probably talking. I think. Is that a personal quality?
Sure, we can make it a personal quality.
You know what? I try to keep it real. That's the truth. I try to be as honest as I can with people.
You are so available to people who admire you.
Thanks.
Never the snob. You never act like I'm too good for and that's
I don't think anybody
love
is.
you.
I don't think anybody is. Do you? I don't think anyone's too good to talk to people.
No,
it makes
but I
me
think
crazy.
that, you know,
but some people think they are, right?
Who do kind of present that way
Sure,
for whatever
sure.
reason, and what makes you so adored is that you are not that way, and
Thank
you are
you.
available to the community.
That means a lot. Thank you.
So your ability to talk is certainly appreciated. If you could witness any event of the past, present, or future, what would it be? You've already witnessed a lot.
I know, I have. I was just trying to think future, what I would want to witness. I mean, there's so many events in history that I would like to go back and be a part of. There's no question about
for me,
it.
it'd be flying cars.
I was just going to say that. That's
Are you
crazy.
serious?
I promise you that. And I was like, that sounds so superficial.
Listen, I got to tell you something. My uncle, I don't know if you know this, but
What?
he's like, you and Tamsen are exactly
He always
alike.
says that to me, because you remind me of
my
niece
we
Robi.
look alike, you know? I mean, I'd love to look like you, but it's not but I mean, maybe he knows something we don't.
Right,
that we
I don't
both
know.
were thinking
I
about
don't know.
flying cars.
Maybe he wants another niece, Mr. G.
There you go.
I know. I don't know why that just came into my head. I'm like, what's kind of next?
I know.
Because I think that you know, I feel like things are moving at such a
Yes.
fast pace, though,
Yeah.
in this world. So I'm reticent, a little scared to see what's next, and always excited to see what's next. So I go back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to go back to the rotary phone, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I want to see the iPhone 20. You know, I never know which way I'm going.
Yeah, I certainly would like to know how to take the best selfie possible, you know, but just not overdo it. Okay, what is a skill you'd like to learn and why? You know so much
I want
already.
to play the guitar. I want to learn how to play the guitar.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my co-anchor actually, John Muller, does. He taught himself, which I think
Oh.
is super cool. But I'd like to learn how to play the guitar.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
have you back once you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And What does a perfect day look like to you?
Oh gosh, if I'm staying in the city, my perfect day is coffee, yoga, and yes, in that order. Going down to the West Village. I love the Village. I love
Me
wandering
too.
around
Yeah.
East Village, getting lost kind of in the city. Just exploring different areas. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy chilling out. I like to read. I kind of like to go back to my basics and no makeup. Makeup free on the weekends, and people who I've scared along the streets have
I've never
that.
seen you with no makeup.
Well,
but
it's,
I'm
some
sure
people
you're
have.
beautiful without makeup as well. Anyway, it is a pleasure. Thank you so
this is great.
much
This is a lot of fun.
for joining us
This
on
was a lot
Talking
of fun.
Live. And I invite everybody to come on to my Facebook page so you can find links for Tamsen, where she is, learn more about all the stories she's talking about, and you can be a fan as much as I am. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week on Talking Live.